with some dialog box or with some check boxes. So what all the logs you want while installing the Windows Server itself. So you can tick on this and you can get them installed on Splunk. While you can configure Windows inputs manually, Splunk recommends that you prepare the stanza using. Okay, so when you are clicking on this, he is asking us to create some inputs.configuration file through web UI because it is easy to mistype the values for event log channels.
Okay.
See now how we need to create through UI. He is showing us, and using the manager UI. So you'll need to click on the settings, data inputs, and on the left side, along with files, directory, TCP, UDP, you're also having log event logs, local event logs. So if you click on it, here it will be showing what all the logs you want to monitor. In the Windows, we are having these different types of logs that can be nested in Splunk, the Windows servers. So here he has selected some security logs that has to be ingested. So now win event log security, checkpoint interval 5. So for every 5 seconds it will be monitored, and start from oldest. So whatever the old data is there, everything has to be coming onto Splunk. Current only after this start from, that means it is starting from the old data and it will be continuously monitoring the current data. Current only is equal to 0. Here in Splunk, 0 means enabled. Windows input configuration options. Now you see. Previously we have selected this win event log security. Disabled is equal to 0. That means we have enabled something. Whitelist which we are monitoring is like event code and task directory. We have written in whitelist 1, 2 with some regular expressions, and blacklist 545. In win event event code. Event code means in Splunk Windows servers, the logs are populating with some event code. Event code is nothing but one of the field in the logs. So here he has given the event code. It is starting with 4 or 5. Everything should come in Splunk, and blacklist 540. So whenever it is seeing the 540 event code, it will not get ingested in Splunk because we are blacklisting it. So here he is explaining us that we are filtering out non-essential events which are not required in Splunk using this whitelist and blacklist, and also some regular expressions he has written. Allows you to target specific events. We have targeted the events with event code which are starting with 4 or 5. Can configure up to 10 whitelist and blacklist per stanza. You can write some 10 whitelist and 10 blacklists. So as we know, the blacklist will be taking first precedence. That means it will be checking the blacklist. Okay, I don't want 540 event code. Then it will be checking the whitelist. Whatever we want, it will be getting ingested in Splunk. So now I'll ask you something. Now my blacklist, you'll anyhow answer it, but I just want to confirm. My blacklist is having the value 100, and my whitelist is also having the whitelist 100. So now tell me, in Splunk, the event code I have defined it as blacklist 100 and the whitelist 100 in my inputs.configuration file. So will my Splunk ingest the event code with the value 100?
No, because it's over the limit.
Over the limit. Means
Like in the configuration, what did you say? You said 100 in the configuration, right?
no, this okay. This is the value. Not it is exceeding 100. It is some event code value.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now what's the question?
Now the question is, my logs are with event code values, and I have. I'll explain this again. If you see here, this black box, whitelist event code is equal to 4 or 5. That means, so I should also explain you this one to make the things clear. Okay, these are my win event logs. Okay, here if you see, my event code is 8224.
Okay.
And my event code here 8224, and everything I'm having 8224 as my event code. And here if you see, the event code is 88786, something like that.
Okay.
Now what he has given, whitelist event code 4 or 5.
Okay.
That means if my logs contain the event code 4 or 5,
followed by something dollar.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is regular expression. So if my event code is 4 or 5 only, my Splunk will ingest the logs in Splunk.
Okay.
The whitelist has written in such a way that if my event code is 4, starting with 4 or 5, then only my logs get ingested in Splunk. And he has given blacklist 540. So whenever he is seeing the event code as 540, he will not ingest this log in Splunk.
I see. Got it. Got it. Okay. So now what's the question?
Now what is my question is, my event code is 100 in blacklist.
Okay.
And in my whitelist also, my event code is 100. Now you tell me whether my event is getting ingested in Splunk or not.
No,
the event code. Why it will not?
Because the blacklist and whitelist are the same code, so it's gonna be confused. So it's if even okay, so if you put the condition to how to ingest for the event code, it will match both cases. So I'm assuming it will not ingest the event code 100.
Okay, why to assume? Why can't you confirm?
Because I don't know if there is other conditions. For example, maybe whitelist takes precedence. Maybe the order.
No. I told you earlier also, blacklist always take the precedence first.
Okay, so then it will not be ingested for sure.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Now local versus remote to Windows inputs. You can configure the remote inputs for 2 types of Windows. First one is event logs. Second one, performance monitor. You'll get all the event logs whichever you require, and also the performance. Nowadays, what people are doing is like they want to check how much the resources are utilizing on the servers. Each and every organization, and we ourselves also. If my laptop is becoming slow, I'll go and check what process is consuming more. If that process is not required, we'll definitely close it. So in that way, people are getting advantage from Splunk by getting all the logs where they are monitoring the performance. Advantage is like you can collect the information from Windows servers without installing Splunk forwarder. Windows servers information can also be collected, it seems, without installing any Splunk forwarder. Disadvantage, uses WMI as a transport protocol. does not scale well beyond a few source machines, require a domain account. Not required. WMI, remote inputs are configured in WMI, it seems. What is this WMI? I think Windows machine inputs, inputs configuration.
Windows machine input configuration, okay.
I am completely not sure. It is Windows management instrumentation, it seems.
Okay, so not Windows machine input, it's Windows.
Windows
management
instrumentation.
Okay.
Yeah, it is specifically set to get some specifications, not more than that. Managing some devices, applications in a network, etc.
Okay.
Here we are trying to get some remote logs, and the server details. The server details were given. That means server 1, 2, 3, where we are getting all the logs from these 3 servers, and win event log file. So what all the logs you require? We are having many things to monitor, but here specifically he has taken only application security and system. Mostly we will be monitoring this application security and system logs only, and other thing the performance logs.
So the interval is the interval for how
seconds
often? For seconds. Okay, every 5 seconds we get performance data.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
this is real-time data. Always the Windows logs or OS logs, everything is real-time data, and the data will be ingesting continuously.
Okay.
Special field extractions. Several use a multi-line header log. These logs are often get reconfigured by product. Okay, so usually the logs are in different format. For example, they can be in JSON, W3C, IAS logs, and CSV, comma separated files, and TSV also we are having. It is nothing but the logs will be separated with some tab space. Instead of comma, it will be separated from tab space. And Java, this JSON files, we will be writing in the props.conf configuration when we see these type of things. For example, if you are having some CSV or JSON files that has to be ingested in Splunk. So, and also you require some extractions. For example, I'll show you. You are having some, I'll take CSV. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, I'm here. I was in mute.
Yeah, okay. So for example, CSV, I'll write Farhana, comma, Splunk, comma, Arizona, comma, I'll write gender, female. Okay. Now you see my logs are separated. For example, these are my logs. These are my logs which are separated with comma. And I know this is CSV file, which is each and every field is separated with comma. And now what I can do is like in the props.configuration file, if I want to extract each and every field, each and every value, so what I should do, either I should write some extract name. Extract name is equal to some regular expression to extract this Farhana. So in my name field, I'll get this Farhana. And in some other, again, I'll write some extract. Again, I should write some tool which you are studying. Again, I should write regular expression. So it will take a lot of time. Otherwise, I should write the regular expression for all these combinedly. At a time, I should write regular expression to again extract all the values in the event. So instead of writing all these things, I'll directly write indexed extractions is equal to CSV. Now what it will do, Splunk will extract all the values from this file. Because I have specifically mentioned indexed extractions is equal to CSV, or we can write JSON or TSV. Depending upon the file format, we can write only the single stanza where my fields are getting extracted. So if it is not CSV, JSON or TSV, instead of that, we are having .text files. So at that time, definitely you need to write extract fields. Again, you should write with regular expressions. So only for this specific type of data only you can use this index extractions.
Okay. But if that txt we write extraction, can you go back to the extraction? If txt files we write extraction equal the regular expression. Okay.
So TSV here TSV means tab extracted values, and delimiters is nothing but, now in the props.configuration file we are writing indexed extractions. Now delimiters can also be used in such a way that in the transforms, sorry, you'll be using delimiters. So delimits, you'll write delimits is equal to, in the quotes you'll write comma. If it is comma separated, you'll write comma and wait fields. Now in the fields I'll write name, comma, tool, name, place, and gender. So in the transforms also you can write these two things. So delimits is nothing but whatever the thing it is separated with. For example, here in our data it is separated with comma. So I have written delimits is equal to comma, and whatever the fields we are having. So the first one is name. So I have given name here. Second one Splunk, tool here. So all these fields will be coming in Splunk on the left side. And if you click on this name, you'll get all the name values. So these can also be written instead of this one. And if it is, for example, it is separated with some tab space. It is now separating with some tab space. Then instead of comma, what I'll do is like /t.
Okay, hold on.
Now you have given like this the fields. Now you don't know how to write this delimits or fields. Now you are not sure how to extract the fields. what you can do in the Splunk, you are having an option, extract fields on the left side down. So you'll directly go into that extract fields and you'll write whatever the field is required, as I have shown you earlier. That is also easy thing. And if you are perfect going forward, you'll be working on some data files. So at that time, if you feel comfortable, you can write the configurations by yourself. Otherwise, you can directly make use of Splunk, extracting the fields directly. From there also, you can extract the fields directly and you can copy the regular expression or delimiters from there, and you can create the file. Otherwise, you can save that file through UI itself. And challenges. If you see the challenges, these logs often get reconfigured by the product administrator. Product administrator can also be, he can reconfigure the things. Require some sort of coordination between source administrator and to sync up the field extractions. For field extractions, definitely you'll need to contact with the product owner, because I'm having these many fields, fields in my logs. Now, the fields are mainly used by the product owner. In Splunk, what we are doing, we are just ingesting the data. And if he is having some requirement to extract the fields only, he'll be asking us, definitely. So he'll now ask me, Shreya, I want to extract the names. I want to extract the names for all my events in my Splunk. So what I'll do, I'll extract this. Now he don't want each and every field that has to be extracted. He want only the name field. So instead of writing all this, so I'll remove this and I'll define only the name field. So he'll get only the name field. So for everything, for field extractions, specifically for field extractions, we need some coordination with the product owner.
Okay.
As per his requirement only, we are ingesting the data, and as per his requirement only, we will be extracting the fields in Splunk. Solution, use indexed field extractions. As I told, indexed field extractions on Windows forwarders. Normally, the field extraction magic happens on the index or search tier. You'll learn more about this. In the next thing also, you can get more insights on it. And indexed extractions, you can, while data is getting ingested, that means while indexing only, the indexed extractions will be taking place. So you will be writing the props.configuration file and you will be pushing on to indexers. While indexing only, you will be getting the data extracted. And PowerShell input. Now you have seen the local log event and the local Windows host monitoring, everything. But here he has given some PowerShell input, how this works. Uses inbuilt. Already we are having some PowerShell.exe scripting facilities in Windows. So again, going to settings, data inputs. Here if you see, PowerShell v3 modular inputs. Here already inbuilt input he has created. Click on this and you just write the script path. So if you are having a specific script, you can click on it. And the cron schedule. Cron schedule, here he has given for every 10 minutes it is running. Star by 10 means for in an hour, every 10 minutes it will be, every 10 minutes it will be running. That means, I think you got it, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, again, it will be running the next 10 minutes, again next 20 minutes, like that it will be getting executed.